Welcome to the Lose Your Big Ass Stomach podcast. I'm your host, Jay Jackson, and my mission here is to help you get rid of that big ass stomach and take back control of your health so that you can look and feel your best by being the best version of yourself, mentally and physically, while destroying the mediocre agenda society is trying to brainwash you into, and breaking our families' generational curses of being unhealthy by being a healthy and fit role model. It's time to set a new standard. It's time to set a new standard of living. If you find the podcast helpful, be sure to hit that follow button because that helps us build a movement. Let's go. Guys, I woke up this morning and I was just thinking, man, your boy 34 years old, and this is around the time when I moved my dad. He was around my age when I moved my dad when I was basically 13 years old. Because up to that point, I stayed with my granddad and his two sisters. I was kind of like the family child, man. I didn't stay with my mom nor my dad. They was young and, trying to figure out life themselves. And so maybe some of you guys might be able to relate to this, but I grew up in a household where we had a big mama. And the big mama, her name was Louise, and that was my granddad's sister. And every Sunday, sometimes on Saturdays too, man, we would have, in our neighborhood, we would have 20, 30, 50 plus cars around the whole neighborhood, but everybody coming into our house to eat soul food. Pork chops, neck bones, what else? Cornbread, pound cake, you name it, we used to be eating it, man. Black eyed peas, you know what I'm saying? I was a little kid, I used to hate eating black eyed peas. But yeah, that's how we used to eat all the time. And so, I grew up, at a very young age, hearing about people, oh, such just had a stroke, oh, such just got type 2 diabetes, oh, such they got to get their foot cut off or whatever. I used to hear and see these things as a kid. And a lot of people don't realize, well, I guess I'll say it this way. As I've gotten more and more into my fitness career, I've learned that our upbringing affects our health and our image and the way that we perceive health and fitness. Like, y'all have no idea how much of your upbringing affects your beliefs about yourself, about what you think your genetics are capable of. You know what I'm saying? Even myself at a certain point, I used to always hear, I think a lot of us have, always used to hear, oh, such and such just big bone. That's why they can't lose no weight. They just big bone. And I used to hear that almost every other day, y'all. But, I went to college. I went to Georgia State University. I studied exercise science and nutrition. And I never seen a big bone skeleton while I was studying in school. I just never seen it. And so I'm like, okay, well, where the hell the big bone skeletons at? and I'm thinking I'm the dumb person in the class because I'm thinking it's supposed to be a big bone skeleton that my professor about to show at some point, but I never seen it. And so I'm like, damn, everything I must have been told when I was growing up was a lie. And so those are things that, from an upbringing standpoint, our family, they don't know. They just heard it from somebody else that heard it from somebody else, and then they started saying it. And so they're telling you something that's a false belief, but we end up believing it. There's no such thing as big bone, y'all. As I went through college, one thing I realized, nobody has a big bone, but we can have big boned habits. Meaning, when people say somebody's big bone, they're basically saying the person's really overweight. You know what I'm saying? But they thinking that, the person got big bone. Ain't nobody got big old ass bones. But you can have the wrong habits that cause you to be perceived as big bone. All right? Hope y'all caught that. And so if you notice that you're overweight and you're like, damn, well, my mom was overweight and my uncle and my auntie was overweight. Man, my granddad was overweight too. Guys, it's not necessarily that they are big bone. They just have habits that cause them to gain a lot of weight. And it's not that you're big bone either. You just adopted the same habits that they had. You see what I'm saying? Like, if they're eating all the time, they're always eating soul food. They never had any type of structure around how much they need to eat. They never had any structure around how much sweet tea they need to drink. Back in the days, we'd have Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? That used to be our big thing. We used to be pouring so much sugar in that to see who had the best tasting, most sweetest Kool-Aid. That was my upbringing. And I used to see people, type 2 diabetes, people poking themselves with needles, granddad passing away from sleep apnea, had a heart attack, and these are things that I talk to a lot of you guys about, and y'all are telling me that y'all have sleep apnea. My granddad passed away at 46. Some of y'all in y'all early 40s, late 30s, mid 30s. Guys, y'all got to start taking care of y'allself, man. And so, you know, I want to kind of go back to what I was talking about earlier, which is I moved with my dad when I was about 12, 13 years old. And then that's when everything shifted for me, because we didn't have like a living room. We had a gym for a living room. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's why I really try to empower men so much. And I want to empower women as well. But it's a little bit of a difference, y'all. It is a difference. Like, the man is supposed to be the leader of the household. All right? And had my dad not been in my life at that time, if not even earlier, my life would be completely different. Y'all wouldn't even see me on here doing not fitness training, fitness coaching. You know what I'm saying? He put me into fitness. He put me, when I moved with him, I was working out pretty much every day. You know what I'm saying? Doing bench press and bicep curls and sit-ups. I ain't know everything, but he put me in the environment of taking care of myself. I didn't look at it as taking care of myself. I just looked at it as working out at that time. But he started teaching me traits, like personality traits of being consistent, having emotional and physical resilience. Because when you're lifting weights, not as a grown-up, but even as a kid, this shit ain't easy. I know some of y'all don't even work out right now because y'all like, oh, it hurt. It's painful. I seen something on Instagram the other day, and the guy, he was interviewing somebody, and the kid was like, I think he was in his 20s. He was like, why you don't work out? He was like, man, it hurts to work out. It hurts. So imagine if you teach your kids early how to voluntarily go through adversity, like pushing themselves with exercise and putting them in sports. You know what I'm saying? I remember, you know, when I used to do in-person fitness training, and I moved out here to Buckhead, started training more of the affluent audience of people, and you know, Caucasians, and you know, not saying that every Caucasian got a whole lot of bread, but I'm just saying they would always bring their kids to me when school was out. Like, I'd have to train them all the way through until school had to open back up again. They'd be like, hey Jay, don't take it easy on him. I want his ass to be tired when he lead his personal training session. I want him to go to sleep. I want him to be aching. I want him to be hurting. They're building kids to be resilient physically and mentally. And I understand. I didn't understand that until I started training these people. But these are the things that my dad was doing for me as well. He just didn't know how to express it. He was just like, hey man, I need you to be working out. You know what I'm saying? I need you to be lifting weights. And these things have helped me greatly in life, man, because it prepares you mentally, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally for all the adversities that we're gonna go through, all the heartaches, all the all the, you know, the letdowns and disappointments. And you know, I just been through a lot of shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I done been broke like 2 or 3 times, and the main thing that kept me grounded was lifting weights. Like, I would be feeling bad. Like, guys, it's still some days I still feel like shit. I'm not saying I'm broke or nothing, but I'm just saying some days I just don't feel like doing anything. But I'll wake up, because my dad has ingrained the habit of hitting the gym and working out since I was 12, 13 years old. Now, whenever I'm having a bad day, whenever I'm feeling off, I take my ass to the gym. I don't run from the gym. I go to the gym. And so now, when I leave the gym, I done filled my cup up. You know what I'm saying? I done checked the box off a non-negotiable that I know I need to do to make sure I'm taking care of myself. And then I pour into y'all. Have y'all noticed? Well, if you listen to the podcast on the podcast platform, you may not notice this. But, you know, if y'all are watching me live on Instagram, you notice a lot of times I'll say, after I get done working out, then I do the podcast. Most days, after I finish working out, I do my podcast, because I'm focusing on myself first. I'm pouring into me first. And so that way I have the energy. I have the charisma. You know what I'm saying? So that way I can pour into y'all. You know, I get it. I tend to have a lot of people who, how can I say this? You pour into everybody else but yourself. You pour into everybody else but yourself, and then you leave yourself empty. And, you know, when people join my coaching program, one thing I tell everybody is you have to pay yourself first. And paying yourself first, all that means is when you wake up in the morning, first thing you need to do is do something that's focusing on putting you first. Whether that's reading the Bible, whether that's you looking at your fitness goals, whether it's you listening to a podcast, whether it's you going for a walk, you going for a workout. You got to pour into you, man. And so that way it just sets the tone for the rest of the day. A lot of y'all, you wake up and you might look at something on social media, it throw you off. You eat some junk food, you eat a honey bun or a bagel, or a sweet ass donut for breakfast, wondering why you tired and you trying to fight through the whole day. You're not pouring into yourself the right way. You see what I'm saying? And these are things that it's an upbringing thing. You have to have people that are going to teach you these things, so that way you don't teach your children the wrong things that cause them to experience the same type of traumas. Because growing up, if you're around people who overweight and passing away and you losing family and friends because of their health, you like, damn, you gonna have a sense of abandonment. You be like, damn, seem like everybody around me just dropping like flies. Like, I went through this. That's what made me so reserved. That's what made me so quiet as a person, because I'm like, shit, I don't know if, somebody who close to me gonna end up passing away. Why the hell I even build relationships and friends? Because everybody passing away. You see what I'm saying? And so I had to work through those things, though. I had to work through them because I had to become aware of what was going on, and I had to work through them. But you don't want your kids to go through the same things that you're going through. If you know you're overweight and you're unhappy about being overweight, you know that you're tired, you taking high blood pressure meds, sleep apnea meds, you on type 2 diabetic medication, guys. All those things completely avoidable. Lifestyle habits. Lifestyle, man. That's why I always tell y'all, it's not about meal plan, workout plan. No. Lifestyle. This is the way you eat for a lifetime. You see what I'm saying? This is the way you work. This is how you exercise to keep the weight off. Not just get it off for a season and then go back to being fat. No. It has to be a lifestyle. Because if you're teaching your kids the things that you're doing right now and you're doing the wrong things, what do you think they going to end up growing up to be like? They going to grow up to be the same way. Tired, feeling sad all the time, always find themselves in depression. Guys, if you're overweight, you 50, 130, 100 pounds overweight, guys, of course you're going to be tired as hell. You know what a person who tired as hell all the time feel like? Depressed. Because they always tired. You see what I'm saying? It's hard to find yourself in a I call it flow state, right? When you're in a high vibration state where you just feel like everything's going right. It's hard to get in that mode when you're not taking care of yourself. You're not eating right. You're not moving. You're not exercising. You're sitting down all day. This is why the #1 killer in America right now is heart disease. Because people ain't moving. People not exercising. They're not making it a priority. They're not even in a community of people who make these things a priority. This is why in my coaching program we have what's called the Lion's Den. This shit be popping in there, man. It's popping. It's gonna be hard to find something like that, in your just everyday life, because most people don't really take too much care about health and fitness like that and eating healthy. And so when you can drop 2 pounds in a week, or you can drop 5 pounds or 10 pounds, you tell somebody, they're like, oh, okay, keep going, man. But in line, then we celebrate. Hey, there you go, 5 pounds. There you go. Let's go get it. Hey, man, you got to keep going. Keep going. We celebrate you. And what's that? That's just like a little kid. This shit ain't rocket science, man. It's just like a little kid. If you see your little kid, they're a little baby. They might be 2, 3 years old. They fall and they stand back up, and you start clapping. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Now when they fall and stand back up, they gonna be like they did something right. They not gonna stay on the ground and cry. It's positive reinforcement. And so that's why it's important to have the right community to build the culture that's needed to breed success and not breed trauma. To breed success and not trauma. A lot of people, they going through trauma themselves with their health and fitness. They pass them same traumas to their kids because they always make an excuse. Oh, I'm tired. I'm too busy. I don't have time. I'll get started next year. They pushing it off. So you teaching your kids the same thing. They can just push it off. They can be tired. They can be inconsistent. They can try their whole life and never accomplish the goal. Some of y'all been struggling for not months, years with y'all weight. When you go figure that shit out? When you just go lock in and focus and be like, man, I ain't gonna stop focusing on this until this weight is off. I'm not taking no hiatus. It's coming off. You see what I'm saying? And so when you get it off, imagine the what you're teaching your kids, the lesson you're teaching your kids. They gonna be like, man, if I ever go through tough times with my weight or anything, man, it's in me to be able to get this weight off. It's in me. If my mom could do it, I know I could do it. If my dad can get all ripped up and cut up, man, I know I can do it. They just go feel more worthy. You know what I'm saying? When I was growing up, I seen my dad. You know, when I think he opened up his restaurant. Shouts out to A1 Soul Food. I gotta plug my. You know, you gotta plug your family stuff, man. Come on now. But I think he launched that restaurant. I probably like 15 years old, and I seen him, you know, become an entrepreneur, become a business owner. And, you know, he had already been teaching me how to work out at like age 12, 13. And so, you know, as I got older, I'm like, well, shit, you know, I'm going to go ahead and start me like a little fitness business. It just made sense. I see that it's possible because I see what my dad is doing. I seen him exercising. So I'm like, I need to be doing the same thing. And so a lot of what we think now and how we view things is based on our upbringing. Even like what you feel like you can overcome. Like, you could be going through the toughest shit, but if the way you grew up, like your parents or the people that you was around raised you in a way where you like, they was like, hey, look, you can overcome anything. You are powerful. You are strong. You a Jackson. You a Cooper. You know what I'm saying? Like, that my dad named my mom last name, whatever. You see what I'm saying? And so they empower, they ingrain these things into you to where you had this unwavering belief, like, man, I can overcome anything. It's in me. And I remember these things as I was growing up, and I'm 34 years old now, and it's still with me. Man, I got that Cooper blood in me. I got that Jackson blood in me, man. I can overcome anything. We got some of the most toughest, resilient bodies and minds and spirits in the world. We can overcome anything. And if you start to ingrain these things into your kids, now you ingrain it in yourself, because some of y'all need to teach yourself first. Then you ingrain it into your kids, not just from talking, but doing the shit, doing it. I wasn't just working out by myself. My dad taught me. He was working out too. So you got to be a leader by example, not just by doing. Because if you just doing all the wrong shit or just talking, the kids go, at some point, they go get old enough and they go be like, man, your ass look like you pregnant. You ain't doing nothing. Why you over here trying to tell me to work out and you ain't worked out? When you go get over here and work out? Why you trying to tell me to eat right, but you just ate a whole box of Pop-Tarts this morning? You ate a whole half a box of cereal. Them kids ain't dumb. Remember when you was a kid? Your ass wasn't dumb. And so they see you. And so you have to do things in a way where you're leading by example. You talk to them. You learn how to deliver your message. You know what I'm saying? Talk to them, man. You can't just do. But you have to breed these things into these kids. And so that way they don't experience the same type of traumas growing up. And that way they can teach these things to their kids too. All right? Otherwise, everybody just go keep on reliving the same traumas, generational traumas, over and over and over again. This is how we break the chain of the generational traumas. Somebody got to wake up, be courageous enough to start investing in themselves. All right? Whether it be with books, courses, coaching, professional nutritionists and registered dietitian, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It don't really matter. But you have to get educated. And so that way you understand it. And so that way you can start putting in the work to do it. And then you can teach it to your family. And not just go off of, oh, well, such and such said this, and, you know, that's my cousin. But do they really know it, or is it just their opinion? Like, y'all need to be going off of facts. Y'all hear people say all these different, do the keto diet, do the carnivore diet. Is it fact, though? Do you know the facts around how to lose the weight? Are you going to a professional who not just speaking facts, but they have results to back it up? They got testimonials, before and afters, video recordings, videos of them interviewing different people. This is why I put out so much shit, man. And so it's like, the proof is in the pudding. There's only so much a motherfucker go be able to show your ass before you just gotta be like, all right, it's time to go ahead and make this shit work. It's time to go ahead and get this weight off. And so I could be a positive role model and a healthy and fit role model for the people I love and care about. My kids, my family, my grandkids. Because they might not ever do it until they see somebody like you do it. All right? But anyway, hopefully y'all found this podcast helpful. If you did, be sure to hit the follow button. Leave your boy a 5-star rating so we continue to grow this movement. And we out of here. Let go. Yo, appreciate you for tapping in and listening to the podcast episode today. Hopefully you found it valuable, and if you did and you want to learn more about how I can help you lose the big ass stomach, transform your body, and get your health on point, DM me real results over on Instagram at JJacksonOfficial for more information. And I'll reach back out to you to do what I can to help you hit those health and fitness goals. Let's get it.